Hey everybody, welcome, welcome. My name is Sue Ellis-Saller and I'm a spiritual advisor and mentor. And I teach a group program that's called Connect. It helps people to connect with their intuition and use a variety of different tools that are available to us right now. So I am recording this little class about how to connect with your intuition and to use it to help you guide you through your life. And I am doing this for the Waking the Witch Within virtual retreat. So I think it's Monday, and I think it's an awesome day to kick off, just really getting connected with, tapping into, getting comfortable with, and really trusting your intuition. So we're all born with intuition. This is something that I think that we've been kind of socialized out of trusting. We don't trust ourselves to make decisions about what we want to eat, when we want to go to bed, what time we want to wake up and go to sleep. So listening to those big things is one thing, but listen to the subtle tap or whisper from our intuition, if we're not listening to the shouts from our body, can get kind of difficult. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about really getting to a point where you can trust your intuition and use it on a daily basis, and also to read the signs and symbols that are coming to you from spirit, and to actually believe that they're from spirit and not from your ego or from some weird place. Now, like I said, we are all born with intuition. This is something that we are all given as a gift from the divine. And this is something that it's kind of like a muscle that you have to build. So the more you use it and the more comfortable you get with using your intuition, the better you'll get at using it, the stronger and more powerful the signs and symbols that you get will come. So I work as a reader, a tarot card reader, and as advisor. I work on hotlines, I work in person, and I also do a lot of spiritual work for myself. And so me being able to tap into and trust in my intuition for reading, not for myself, but for other people, is essential with the work that I do. So, and I also like to teach people how to do this work for themselves, because I feel like it's so empowering to be able to really, when you need it, not have to reach out to somebody else for advice and guidance, not to have to spend any money, not to have to sometimes disappoint other people who give you advice from their best place, but advice that doesn't fit for you. So this work kind of teaches you to become your own good counsel and to really embody the decisions you make and the responsibility for driving your own life. And I know for some people, taking that responsibility is a little bit terrifying, but when you do so, it gives you this level of freedom that you don't get when you ask other people for their opinions, to be quite honest with you. So this is something, like I said, that it requires a lot of personal trust, a lot of personal honesty with what you're feeling and what you think and what you really and truly want out of life. So I am just clicking over to my notes here. Sorry about that. You know, when you're doing intuitive work, it's like an experiment. It's like running a big experiment. It's like being open to and analyzing all of the information that comes through to you. So some people receive their messages in one way and some people must receive them in other ways. And, you know, some people, these are called the Clairs, or, you know, so clairvoyance, clairsentience, clair empathy, claircognizance, all of these Clairs work together to give you impressions about the information that you need to know in order to move forward in life. So when you're first starting to work with or discover your Clair or Clairs, it's really important that you are open to receiving the information in the way that the universe sends it to you, whether it's visual or sensory or feelings in your body, or whether it's signs, in real life signs, or songs, or snippets of conversation, taste, smell, touch. These different feelings and different ways of receiving the information and being open to receiving it how it comes to you are going to be really important. So consider this to be an experiment. Keep a notebook, write down the different things that you experience and how it feels and how it turns out and leads you into the next level or the next phase of your life. Yeah, so keep an open mind too. You know, this is hard because a lot of us might really have experienced our Clair senses in one way or another in the past. And as we evolve, as we move forward in this path, then things might change for us, or we might start getting the information from a variety of different sources. So keep an open mind and trust in the messages that you're getting, that you're receiving. So that's a big thing. A big part of this is trusting and having faith that the universe, faith that the universe will give you the right messages in the right timing. So don't worry about that. I also recommend people keep themselves safe. I don't really encourage people to start working with dark energies or working from a place that is angry, jealous, envious, frustrated, fearful. When you're working from that place, you are going to call in, your essence is going to originate from a different part of your body, and you're also going to call in energies from those places. And they also say if you can't banish it, don't call it in. So even though it might be tempting to call in this or that or the other entity or divinity to work with, I highly, highly, highly recommend working with light energies at first, working with, I always work with angels, my spirit team, and my ancestors, and I feel like those are the safest for me to work with. So just to let you know, you might hear screaming in the background at my house. My son is playing like Fortnite or whatever, so sorry about that. Don't worry, there's no torture going on downstairs or anything like that. Get used to keeping a sacred space for yourself. For me personally, it's here in my office. I've worked really hard. A lot of my crystals and everything are in here. But I've also protected my home. I protect my energy on a regular basis. I think that's really important to do so that you can just know that you're in a grounded, safe environment a lot of the times. And even internally, having a sanctuary within yourself is really important for you to tap into your intuition and use it more often. Speaking of more often, use your intuition as often as possible. Use the split-second guidance that you receive before all those filters and over-analysts and should, would, coulds put their influence on your messages. So intuition is going to be that thing that you think and it feels good inside your heart, and it really changes your energy and your vibration, and it really helps you to think, wow, I'm really excited to go in this direction. So use it as often as possible. Also, this is a really big one. If there's a time when you feel like your intuition is failing you, make sure you're connecting from a place of trust and faith instead of from fear, anger, or jealousy, because the results are going to be way different when you actually connect from a place of trust and faith in the divine instead of, doubt. you can tell that, you know, even if somebody comes to you for advice and guidance and they come in and they're like, oh, you told me wrong before, but I think I'm going to ask you, you know, that's kind of, you have to treat your intuition as if it is a really gentle, happy entity or part of yourself that you speak with that is giving you messages. Believe in yourself and your vision. This is really, really important too, because a lot of other people might not understand what you're doing and your intuitive work. They might call you silly or crazy, or, you know, not even understand why you would want to do that. You know, I know my husband is a muggle, and so sometimes my work is really like he doesn't understand it at all, and that's okay. That's his thing. But I've been doing this for a long time, and it's really important to me. So it's your journey. It's not anybody else's. So learn to trust yourself. Practice makes perfect, so you should work with all of the different modalities and give each one a little bit of space and really open yourself up. Because when I'm working with my intuition and when I'm tapping into the divine, I take a moment to connect with my breath and to connect with my center and to relax in a place of calmness and tranquility and trust. And it gives me this feeling, like this relaxed feeling and the centered, grounded feeling. And that's something that even when I'm working in a fast-paced environment, even when I'm out, you know, and I need to make a split-second decision, I get back into that space. And the more often I'm in that space, the better I get at getting into it when I need to get into it. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I do have a course that I'm offering. I hope that I can talk about that. And remember that resistance might come up. A lot of our fear and a lot of our programming is telling us, oh, if you hear voices or if you see things or even listening to your intuition is just a strange, bizarro thing. So you might have a lot of layers of conditioning to sort through on your journey to really trusting and opening up to your intuition. But like I said, the more you work with it, the better you get at it. And don't think that you don't have it, because like I said, we are all born with intuition. We all have it. And really making the effort, really, the fact that you are here shows that you are interested in tapping into and tuning into your higher guidance. So don't worry if you have anxieties or conflicts that come up. These are things that you're going to work through as you go on. Also, I think it's really important to take good care of your body, mind, and spirit. That's just general good things to do, but especially food and mood is a huge, food has a huge effect on mood. And also the way you eat can sometimes, especially if you're extremely sensitive, you might actually pick up and hold on to fear from, like, if you eat dairy or meat, you might actually pick up the residual fear of the animals that were slaughtered or milked for your sustenance. I eat meat personally. I try, and I've noticed like a difference between the level of connection I have when I'm not eating meat and when I do eat meat. But I also have other dietary things. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But what I am saying is that sometimes, especially if you're extremely sensitive, it might be a good idea to have a look at your diet, have a look at the people you hang out with and their energy and how it affects you, what they say, what your self-talk is. Because these things are going to be really important in the quality of the information that you receive, how much you trust and work with your senses, and how the energy is for yourself and surrounding yourself. It's really important. So let's see. Let's talk about your gifts, because sometimes we are, me personally, growing up in the 70s, it was just one of those free-for-alls where there was Poltergeist, there was Sybil, there was Damien. Um, so, and what's the one? The Exorcist. And so we kind of got this view of what it could be out there and what we could potentially tap into. And so for me, I know I really shut down a lot of my intuitive knowing because I was scared of what I might be able to see or what might try and contact me if I were to open myself up fully to receiving messages from the divine. And like I said, as I've grown up as I've gotten into this work, I really limit who is allowed into my space. So this is like me having a bouncer at the door that says, okay, angels, okay, light beings, okay, people with positive vibe and energy, you're allowed in this space, but anybody else is left out of that. And a lot of that comes through my work with angels and Archangel Michael and the carry-ons to help to keep my space that I work in energetically sound and safe for me. Far too many people are blessed with one Clair, but they actually want another Clair. So they ignore their Clair audience or their Clair empathy because they want to see something. So, and I can say this personally, I've wanted to see, like, after I get over that fear of, like, I don't want to see dead people or don't want people, icky entities to come to me. But, I wanted to see things. So I kind of shut myself off. It was like putting big blinders on, but saying, but like looking like this through things. So, but this also allowed me to open up to different Clair powers that are really strong for me. So for example, a lot of times I get Clair audience. So I get the exact message that I'm looking for. I hear it either on the radio or through a snippet of conversation or along those lines. So, and now that I'm opening up a little bit more and I know how to control what comes into my area, then I'm seeing a lot more. And so, and also I feel like Hollywood has skewed a lot of the way that we look at psychic gifts. So like the little boy in The Sixth Sense, and I don't know if that's too old for some people to understand, where he actually interacted with people who had passed on as if they were there in the room. Or like Ghost, Whoopi Goldberg's character was a medium, and then poof, all of a sudden Patrick Swayze, who was this deceased lover of Demi Moore, or her husband or whatever, comes in like he's fully embodied in a person there. And so if that is your expectation of what intuition looks and feels and sounds like, you might be like, the more subtle whispers that you're getting you're going to be like, oh no, that's not intuition because it's not so vibrant and obvious as what Hollywood makes it out to be. So you, like I said, honor your gifts as they show up to you, and also understand that especially when you first start working out, they might be more whispers than, loud voices, or you may hear a loud voice and you might just say, that's nothing. So honor your gifts as they are and know that your skills will strengthen and improve as you use them more often. So I just want to go over the Clairs really quick for you. Clairsentience is when you pick up on the feelings of others. And this is really, really common stuff. And this is, using intuition. I was teaching about this in another class. And so if you see two people pass on the sidewalk and they look at each other and they're like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. And you're experiencing this from afar, and you see them hug and you see them laugh, and catch up and you just get this rush of like joy, that is your intuition. That is you picking up on that energy from the feelings of those people who you've seen. And it happens too when you cry in movies or when you see something that really tugs your heartstrings. That is your intuition. That is your connection with all that there is and all everything that other people are as well. That is a part of clairsentience. Clair empathy is kind of the same thing. So I'm sorry, I think I did those. So clairsentience shows up as feeling into somebody's energy and getting an indication of what's wrong with them. And that happens for me with Reiki. And then clair empathy is that thing where you pick up on the energy of other people's interactions. So you're empathic. The empath in you is picking up on that. Clairvoyance is clear sight. So this happens in a lot of different ways. Sometimes it's like a movie running into your head. Sometimes it's like you see a picture of what's going on. When I soften into reading pictures, for example, or reading auras, it's seeing that outline of energy around a person, or seeing, you know, like the angel streaks, or when a guardian angel is around somebody. So sometimes you see shadows out of the corner of your eye, that are, you know, loved ones who have passed on, or energies that are staying in a place where they don't really need to be anymore. Claircognizance is sometimes just like that. Oh my gosh, I have all of this information that came through to me and I'm not really sure where it came from, because this happens a lot of times when I'm reading cards. I'll look at the layout as it is, and then all of a sudden some information will pop into my knowing. And so, for example, if you're reading a card and then you see like the person whose situation it's you know more about a situation than you actually should, by the tools that you're using. Clairaudient, like I said, this is another one that's really strong and powerful for me. Sometimes these things are going to be messages for you. So it's going to be something that's going on in your life that you really need to hear a message about. And sometimes it's also going to be people in your circle who have passed on, who want to give you a message. So the distinction or the difference between the two, I think, is when I've received messages for myself, it's like really pertinent to what is going on in my life and really gives me like the information that I need at that moment, that helps me look at my situation in a different way, brings a different perspective, or brings the answer or clarity that I'm looking for. And if it's a message from somebody else, it might be like their favorite song, or a song that you sang together, or something that you associate with another person or a loved one who's passed on. And a lot of times too, like this is like giving you joy. Like, for example, if you're waiting for your test results and like a happy favorite song that comes on in the waiting room, you know, your favorite one, and you know there are like 10 billion songs out there. So the likelihood that your favorite song that puts you in such a fabulous place to come on is a sign from the universe that it's there supporting you as you're waiting. Clairsalient is clear smelling, and this is something a lot of people have and a lot of people kind of take for granted. So this is like on your grandmother's birthday when you start smelling flowers, or baking, or something that you associate with her. Or if you have a loved one who's passed on who smoked a lot, and even though you shouldn't be smelling smoke because there's nobody smoking around you, you're inside, but you pick up the smell of smoke. And so this is, and can also be like, people report smelling wretched, rotten things when they go into places with negative energies associated with them. And they also associate, roses and apple blossom, and, lilacs with different, sprites, fairies, um, angelic energies. Clairgustance is another one that you might pick up the taste. So in the same way with the smells coming through, the taste can come through. So, and then clear tangents. And this is something that happens to me also when, let's see, okay, this is a little bit different though. This is something where you see a lot of times in on TV where the person gets the pocket watch of the grandfather or whatever, and they pick up the energy from that. Or, sometimes with murder cases, then they bring in a psychic to hold the weapon, or they bring in some aspect or some kind of clue that they found to see if a psychic can pick up on any of the energy that's left over in that item from either the perpetrator or the victim. So those are just some of the ways, explaining to you some of the ways that you might be able to pick up on different messages. So faith and trust are the keys for this. And when you are starting to explore, you should believe in and have trust and faith in your guidance, in what you're picking up and what's coming through to you. So you might say a mantra like, for example, I'm a clear channel for divine messages. You can just meditate, get into your center. Once you get that comfortable feeling, you can say to yourself, I'm a clear channel for divine messages. Or you can write it on a piece of paper, leave it around. The universe speaks clearly to and through me is another good one. My guides are always willing to share information with me. I can easily receive and interpret messages from the divine. And the more I practice working with my gifts, the stronger they become. Now, it's one thing to read messages and information for yourself, but it's quite another to read information or messages that come up for other people. And so when you are an open channel, a lot of times, or especially like after you get your Reiki attunement, I was really, really raw, and I was picking up all kinds of information from other people. And when you get information like this, you have the choice to either keep it and just say thank you to your guides for bringing it to you, or if you feel like it's really imperative to share the information with the other person that you're receiving it for, you want to do this very sensitively and sensibly, because sometimes the other people, like I said, they don't want to hear it. They're not interested in getting the message. And sometimes, it's just weird I don't want to say it's weird, but for somebody to come up and approach and say, hey, I have a message from this person who's with you, who's passed on. So it's really kind of, I don't want to call it spying, because sometimes you can't help, it's like you can't help but see what's going on in this other person's life. But it's your choice about whether or not you keep this to yourself or if you approach them. And if you do approach another person with information about them, do it very sensitively, do it very, ask them, hey, I have a message for you. I'm not really sure if this is something that you'd be into, but if you'd like, we can sit down and we can talk about it. And of course, if it's something like that, don't say, oh, and it's going to cost you $50 because, this is my job. If you are, if it's imperative for you, or if you're given information to give to somebody else, that's something you need to kind of work on, the ethical side of that. And also, don't spy on other people. I know it's really tempting, especially for mothers or for ex-lovers who haven't gotten over a person. Don't try and call people back energetically. Don't put your energy into a situation that you should be pulling your energy out of. And, don't try and connect with somebody to see what their new relationship is like or anything like that, because basically the universe is going to bring you the exact information that you need, the exact people that you need, the exact yeah, like I said, experiences, without you poking around and spying on other people, to tell you the truth. So a little bit more about keeping yourself safe when you are working, doing this work. So like I said, your own physical health is going to be a really important thing about this. Even if you're in poor health, though, you can connect with source energy. You can call angels. You can call helping spirits into your space to give you guidance, to give you support. Even if you're crossing over or transitioning, you can call in angelic guidance. You can call in energies that will help you to make the transition more safely and confidently. So I also think that it's really important for you to work with your energy and intuition in a really, I hate to say it, but sometimes physical clutter can represent mental or spiritual clutter. So try and keep your workspace clean. Keep your mind, like write down a list of the things that you need to do. Get those things that you're always like, oh, I forgot to do this. Oh, I forgot to do this. Write it down, check it off your list, so that you don't have mental clutter, that you are trying to receive messages from the divine through. And also, keep your workspace clean spiritually as well. So use either holy water, sage your space, use Florida water. I usually clear my space with Reiki energy, clear myself with Reiki energy. So, and remember always that when you need advice, guidance, and support, when you need to tap into your intuition, your spirit guide and your angel team will be there for you to help you out, to make sure you get the messages. So they're not going to send you a message once, and if you miss it, then that's it. Sorry. Too bad for you. Too bad, so sad, missed out. So again, you can trust the universe to bring you these messages. Keep a notebook so that you can write down the things that you receive as messages. And then as these messages start proving themselves to be trustworthy advice and guidance for the future, then you can look back on this notebook that you've been tracking your intuition in, and you can, it's like confidence building, because you're actually seeing how these things have flown, or how they've worked out. And also remember, sometimes no guidance in a situation is actually guidance. So this is something I talked about last week. But sometimes if you have a variety of different options available and you're not getting a clear hit on any of them, or none of them seems right, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is all the options that I have, take a deep breath and a step back and trust in the universe to bring the exact right option to you. So instead of forcing one of those options to be the best option, remember that because they all aren't the right option, none of them may actually be the right option for you. And you might need to wait until you've had an aha moment, or another option has presented itself to you, or something happens to change your situation and to bring a new level of understanding even for the options that are available there for you. So I hope this lecture has helped you, and if you have any questions or comments about it, please feel free to let me know. Again, my name is Sue Ellis-Saller, and yeah, I hope that you are able to learn to use and trust and have thanks and gratitude for your intuition, because it's there as a best friend and your best advisor for you. Like I said, probably the most important things are use it often, trust in it, and know that you too can do it. It's not something that is, something for somebody else to use. It's available for all of us. You have it within you, and it's just your right to be able to use it and tap into it. And so it's like starting a conversation with God. Of course, if you want to have that conversation, if you want to start that conversation, if you want to maintain that conversation, then do so. It's available for you. So with that, I will leave you and have a blessed day. And I hope you really get a lot out of this Waking the Witch Within virtual retreat and summit. And I hope I see you again in the future. Thanks. Bye-bye.